They spent over $20 million all over Trinidad and Tobago. Remember Smiley, Franklin Can, Stuart Young, parading up and down local government consultations across the 14 regional corporations, and not a bit of improvement in your lives. In fact, in 2019, last year, $6 million was allocated to improve roads in this Cuba Tabaqui Talparo Regional Corporation, and only $210,000 was released by Minister Imbert and the incompetent Kazim Hussein, who cannot chair the Joint Select Committee on Local Government Reform. The fella really don't have any voice in the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, because if the Prime Minister cannot have confidence in you when you are line minister to chair a Joint Select Committee, I am sure Fazal Karim can tell you that tonight. Well, then you should resign from any cabinet if you're a line minister and you don't have the competence to lead a committee that is in the context of a Joint Select Committee to address the reform or amendments or what we would call to any piece of legislation. And that is why I want to tell you here tonight that local government has collapsed under Dr. Keith Rowley and Kazim Hussein. And I will say more on a fellow by the name of Aaron here later tonight. I don't want to interfere with Aaron too much, because Aaron is a non-entity in this race. There's only one party and one candidate in the two electoral districts in terms of Gangaram Gopal and Nadia Khan Mohammed. But if Aaron get me vexed, I will expose him here tonight. But I will not go there. A fella pleading with me, don't go there, or don't go there tonight. But you see, the PNM is a very nasty government. They are very deceptive people, and all that they could do is attempt to destroy the integrity of people and the character of people, because they have nothing to show you after spending over $250 billion. So with this in mind, my brothers and sisters, I want to bring to the podium a very committed, hard-working older woman in the Cuba Tabaqui Talparo Regional Corporation, who has demonstrated a sense of commitment and understanding to our great party over the last 3 years. And she has added value to the Cuba Tabaqui Talparo Regional Corporation. I bring to you older woman Angie Benjamin, who will introduce your candidate and your next councillor for the Pointe-de-Pierre-Claxton Bay electoral district. I bring to you Sister Angie Benjamin.
Thank you, MP. Thank you very, very much. Now, for my last 3 years, I have been saying I wish that we had cameras and microphones in our councils so that the people, the grassroots people, the people who matters would see what our fight has been like for the last 3 years. You have heard Councillor Gangaram speak to you, and the passion with which your councillors go into a council and plead for simple things like clean the drain, spray the mosquitoes, or go around the children's school needs spraying. And it is not as simple as asking, it's a plea, it's a beg. And when they don't have funding, most of the times I think the two councillors that I'm closest to, which are here tonight, I think they're at the point of tears, because they are very, very close their communities. And tonight I would like to introduce my counselor, not my favorite, I don't want to make Gangaram get jealous. But Councillor Nadia has been a very inspiring young lady in our council to most of us. The way she fights, the way she deals with the council's business, and the way she deals with your business and bring your concerns to our councillor. Councillor Nadia has been challenged badly by the non-releases of funding to do what she needed to do in your area. And even with those challenges we saw where she would go through the flooded area and still get the resources that some of the persons need. Councillor Nadia has been fighting a battle that I personally, as a young woman also, not so young, in the council, has been admiring this young lady and the way she fights. Tonight, I would like to present to you with pleasure, it is my pleasure to present to you your representative for 2019-2020 as your councillor, Councillor Nadia Khan.
Thank you, Alderman Benjamin. Member of Parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre, Dr. David Lee. Member of Parliament for Couva South, Mr. Rudy Singh. Member of Parliament for Shigones East and former Minister of Tertiary Education, Mr. Fazal Karim. My councillor colleague and fellow candidate, Mr. Gangaram Gopal. Other members of the head table, respected religious leaders, you, my Pointe-a-Pierre family, good evening and welcome. A pleasant good night to all. I wish to begin tonight by thanking each of you for your continued love, support and encouragement throughout the years. It is only because of the support from you, my burgesses, that I have been able to continue to serve you. You have been my pillar of strength as I continue to battle against the PNM. The response I have received so far on my walk throughout the district of Claxton Bay Pointe-a-Pierre is indeed overwhelming. I have been welcomed with open arms and I could feel the genuine love and warmth of you, my people. I can also feel the hate and dissatisfaction with the PNM. I wish to also thank you for your patience, my brothers and sisters. The patience you have shown over the past years speaks volume about your dedication and love for your party. You have shown resilience in one of the toughest times in the history of our country, a time when every single citizen feels the brunt of the mismanagement of the country's resources. A time when I, as your councillor, sing the same song day after day after day, that we have no resources and we have no money at the regional corporation. A time when a government that shows no care for its citizens. But I am really fed up of making excuses. I am fed up of making excuses to defend a worthless, incompetent and uncaring PNM government. I am fed up of telling you, my burgesses, the same thing over and over again. I am fed up of having to beg for material to patch roads and develop our area. I am fed up of having to explain why I can't construct a proper box train. Today, I tell you, I am fed up of the PNM. I want to also tell you today that while this may be a local government election, it sets the stage for the general election, which is to come very soon. An election which will determine how much more we suffer or how much we progress. An election which will send a loud and clear message to the PNM that we are not prepared to live under this oppression. A message that tells the PNM that we are ready for real governance. I want to just take a moment and make a very simple comparison between the vision of our party and the leader, and the leader of the PNM. A PNM government spent millions to build an office complex in San Fernando while the hospitals had no beds. But our leader and our government had the love and the vision to turn it into a first-class, beautiful, outfitted teaching hospital. It was the love for your children and my children by our then Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad-Bisesa, which led to the construction of the Couva Children's Hospital. A hospital which is still not open for our children to use. So when the PNM candidate comes to you, ask him about it and let him explain why his government is so wicked and uncaring to the citizens. Let him tell you why that hospital is still closed. It took them 4 years to change the sign on it, and they want to come and ask for your vote? They should be ashamed to even show their faces at your doorstep. The PNM has done nothing but suffer the people of Claxton Point of View, and they want to come and blame the UNC. I say shame on you, shame on the PNM for trying to fool people with medical clinics one after the other. If you fix the hospitals, we won't need your medical clinics. After 4 years of doing nothing, they want to come now and make promises to you, my people of Claxton Bay Point of View. But you all are smarter than that. You can see through their lies and deception. But then again, that is the only way the PNM knows how to govern and campaign. Tonight, I don't want to speak about the very high crime rate and the countless murders, robberies, and kidnapping which occurs on a daily basis. I don't want to talk about the increasing unemployment rate. I don't want to talk about the schools that need repairing and those that are still to be opened after so long. I don't want to talk about the high food prices. I don't want to talk about the complaints received in my office or on my walkabouts from the residents, from you complaining about your disability grant or your social welfare grant being cut. I don't want to talk about the only thing the PNM ever did for Point of View was to close down Petrotrin. I want to talk about the severe flooding experienced on Saturday and Sunday across Claxton Bay Point of View. Several homes were affected and lives disrupted right here along the Cedar Hill Road, Suku Trace, Claxton Bay Trace, La Sophie Trace, Hermitage Road, Lalu Trace and environs, and the list goes on. My team and I, together with MP Lee and his staff, were on the ground all day and night, meeting with residents, trying to bring some sort of comfort and relief to them. It is not a good sight when you visit a home and see everything destroyed. School books, clothes, groceries, documents and appliances, all destroyed. But you know what gets me angry? The fact that this could have been avoided or even reduced. The fact that the government did not care about you, my people, to pay contractors or even give us at the corporation the funding to clean half of the watercourses. But the thing is, it is not here alone. Our neighbors right in Forest Park, Macaulay, Springvale and Gasperlo also suffered the same way. No resources, and again they blame the UNC. All of this could have been avoided. My brothers and sisters, you know what is even worse? Limited amount of mattresses, no gas for the pumps, no food supplies, not even a bottled water for the people who were flooded out. Today I was happy to receive a phone call this morning from officials of the Drainage Department requesting a site visit to identify the major causes of flooding in this area. But you know what? That happiness was short-lived and replaced by disappointment and more frustration as I was informed by these officers that the ministry has no funding. So once again, why did they come here? What did they come to do? To mamagay us? Why? Because last night, our political leader spoke about the severe flooding in this area and the lack of assistance given by the government. And then they want to come and ask for votes, for your votes. Again, I say, shame on them. Brothers and sisters, tonight I want to bring a message of hope and prosperity from our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bisesa, a message of better days under UNC government, a message that roads will once again be paved and that flooding will be reduced to a minimum. A message to you to come out and vote for a party that son. There are many rooms. There's a place for everyone. And I want to invite all those who left this house all those who are out in the wilderness, to come back home. Come back home to the rising sun. Again, I urge you to come out on Monday, 2nd of December, and cast your vote for the United National Congress. Put your necks next to the symbol of the rising sun and vote for me, your UNC candidate, Shazina Nadia Khan Mohammed. Long live our great party, long live our leader, and long live you, my brothers and sisters. I thank you.
Sukutres Junction, put your hands together for your winning candidate, Shazina Nadia Khan Mohammed. Because I saw on the night, in fact, the fella called Aaron, we can't find him. And after the 2nd of December on the night, he will be a non-entity in Suku Junction and in this part of Claxton Bay. And everybody in the PNM following Rowley and Line, because Rohan Sinanan, he stood up in the parliament recently and said that there was over 300 river cleaning exercises, and he and Kazim Hussein want to tell you that they are working and they're delivering. He lied too. Well, I want to agree with you because all of them following the example of the Prime Minister and their leader. Well, there was calypso by the name of Lord Nelson sing it. Teacher Percy say, if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. That is lie. And after 4 years of Rowley, I think Lord Nelson could sing over a brand new calypso because his government has set a new world record when it comes to lies, misleading the people, and propaganda throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Keeping the tempo waxing warm and given the numbers, the hundreds of people who are here in Sukutres Junction, we want to wax it up a little bit. We want to increase the tempo a little bit. And tonight, I want to bring on a young fella who will provide you with some upbeat entertainment and keep the tempo alive and keep the faith in the UNC supporters who are here tonight. I bring on Mr. Daniel Passad.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do a ballad for you this hour. I hope you enjoy it. Mr. Voran Hussein. Holiday. I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning. I go to bed feeling the same way. I love the tired.
Alice. I'm the local candidate for Marbella West under the UNC. My purpose of being here today is that I'm displeased, I'm angry about the situation that is going on in Marbella West. For example, here is a situation brought to your attention, Sunset Park. We can't stay living in this forever. The UNC works, the PNM talks, talk down.
Let us get TNT.
Dear Kira Page neighbor, I am Jalen Jana Rupnarai, your UNC candidate for Kira Page. I am again seeking your support in the upcoming 2019 local government elections as your councillor for the second term. Over the past 3 years, I had the privilege to be your UNC councillor for Kira Page, where I helped deliver better roads and drains and fought for a safer quality of life for you and your family. Our lives in Kira Page will continue to change as our communities grow even more. But not all change is good. My plan of action for Kira Page builds on the work I already started. I intend to continue working with the St. Joseph Police Station to institute additional police patrols. Continue working with the Traffic Management Branch to reduce traffic throughout Kirep and near UE St. Augustine. Continue to lobby for the opening of the Kirep Presbyterian School. Make the Monte Grand Bridge on the St. Augustine Circular a dual
Daniel, thank you. I think the last time I heard you was in 2016. Thank you. 2016, right here in Suku Junction. We had a political meeting right here. So we'll bring you back in the next 3 years again, Daniel. Anyway, I have a great pleasure here tonight to introduce the next speaker. The next speaker has been the former Minister of Tertiary Education, one of the best performing ministers of tertiary education this country has ever seen. But more than that, MP Fazal Karim was my boss. I was chairman of MIC and I had to report to the Minister of Tertiary Education, which was Fazal Karim. And Fazal Karim also, when he was appointed the candidate for the Shogunas seat, the political leader felt that the only person that could have beat Jack Warner was Fazal Karim, given the great work that he has done in the Ministry of Tertiary Education and what he stands for. Fazal Karim really stands for accountability and transparency. And I have worked with Fazal Karim between 2010 and 2015. And I want to tell you that what I learned in politics today is because of Fazal Karim that I am here today. And when I was appointed the candidate for Pointe-a-Pierre, and in my first cottage meeting in Paraiso, I had my first person that I had to be on that platform was none other than Member of Parliament Fazal Karim for Shogunas East, where he endorsed me as a candidate for Pointe-a-Pierre. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in Suku Trace Junction, it gives me great pleasure and an honor to introduce a friend, my brother, my comrade, in Parliament, outside of Parliament, none other than the Member of Parliament for Shogunas East, MP Fazal Karim. Can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you very much for those very kind words of introduction. My colleague, Member of Parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre, and a fantastic Chief Whip in the Parliament, keeping the PNM busy on their feet at all times. Dr. the Honorable David Lee, I'm so delighted that he asked me this evening to come and join you here in this political meeting. And yes, I remember Paraiso. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that the only chairman of the MIC Institute of Technology that we had in Trinidad and Tobago and ever drove the agenda for technical and vocational training excellence was under Dr. David Lee. My other parliamentary colleague, Member of Parliament for Cuba South, the Honorable Rujanat Indar Singh, well, it's a good thing he voices so good this evening, because it'll be fire and brimstone tonight. But I know we have some more coming. Alderman Angie Benjamin, who's here, our willing candidates, Shazida, Nadia, Khan, Mohammed, Jackson, Ponjape, Gopal Gangaram, Bridgen Castle, Esperanza, my very good friend, who every time he see me ask me, say, you're coming down my way, boy? Shanif Mohammed, we go back many, many years, good to see you here. Members of the respective religious faiths, Gunam Hussein, Pandit Maharaj, and Camille Eli Govind. As I sat next to Camille, I want to tell you what I remember, but let me just finish my salutation. I'll come back to Camille. Members of the media, brothers and sisters of Suku Trace Junction, I want to tell you that Shazida said just now that this election on the 2nd of December, while it is a local election, it has global implications and national implications. The outcome of this election on the 2nd of December will impact upon and influence the outcome of the general elections, which we are going to both win, local and general, whenever they are called. And I'll give you some reasons why. Under the very distinguished leadership of Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, visionary and hardworking, never before in the history of this country have we seen performance like under Mrs. Bisesa and our team of cabinet ministers and senators as under the period of 2010 to 2015. And I'll just give you one. As a matter of fact, I was just going to tell you why you would have heard why you must not trust the PNM. Why the PNM is so vindictive and irresponsible, but most of all, incompetent. I want to tell you, I describe the PNM with 2 C's. Cut and close down. That is what they famous for. And send home people. I was telling you about Camille Eli Govind. I don't know my colleagues remember, I think Dr. Lee will remember. Worked in YTEP, the Youth Training Employment Partnership Program Limited, for 25 years. 25 years. And when the PNM came into office, refused to renew her contract. And she's not the only one. Many people like that. If you look yellow, you smell yellow, or you're walking with yellow, they bust your throat. But I want to tell you, he who has a job today will soon know what it is like to be without office. Because their time will come. And there's a God above, and He's a very just God, unlike the injustice that we see in our country. Before I get into some of my rhetoric for tonight, I want to tell Daniel Prasad for that excellent rendition. Where's Daniel? Daniel reminded me of the days when I had long hair, boy, and I used to follow rock music. That's when I was going to presentation San Fernando. And I could tell you, the person who you sing that song, who made that, was Bruce Springsteen. And I will tell you the title of the song, Dancing in the Dark. But I want to tell everybody here tonight and those who listen, the United National Congress, led by Mrs. Bisesa, will continue to dance under the light of the rising sun and take Trinidad and Tobago to progress and prosperity such as you have never seen before. Bruce Springsteen, I want to tell you, as I indicated to you, that this local government election is critically important. You know, I am coming down to this meeting, so I'm putting on the radio to listen to the news. And apart from some of the other items, just before I reach here, what is the news item? I told you about cut down and close down. I told you about, I'm going to add another word in terms of compromise. What I heard in this news, and I think it's important for us to say tonight, because a lot of us here have children, or we have families who go to school. The school bus maxi taxi transport service announced tonight that because they are not being paid and owed monies, that they're going to be closing them, and they're closing them from next week when term test is going to be starting in this country. This is what this country has come to. I want to tell you about close down. I used to take a bus from Cuba. I'm from Carpenter. My father is a sugar worker. I know my colleague, Rodonald, they're waiting for me to say the slogan. So I'm going to say the slogan just now. But my father was a sugar worker in Caroni. I want to take the bus from Carpenter, and I go to Cuba to take the next bus. The first thing I'm meeting is Caroni C. They closed down that. And as the bus going down the road now and they passing through Texaco, we didn't know what Petrotrin was Texaco. They closed down that too. And like they forget, they like on this P&M bus, they forget, so they reverse now. And instead of going forward, they're going backward to FedChem. That is Yara. You know it as Yara. We know it as Federation Chemicals Limited. I don't know if that bus going to go forward again anyway near Claxton Bay in the near future, you know. Because we have to be careful. TCL, watch it. We don't know what's going to happen with you. And this is what we are facing. I want to spend my time this evening telling you about education and training. I told you about Camille. Camille was a WAC officer. What is that? It is a workforce assessment officer. Dr. David Lee, who ran the MIC Institute of Technology. What we develop standards. For example, if you are a plumber, mason, a carpenter, welder, an engineer, an auto mechanic, a cosmetologist, bread, cake and pastry, you have competence. You can perform, but you have no certification. Another Mrs. Bisessa and Dr. Lee and Whitep and the NESC under Mr. Firoz Khan, we launched that facility where you can walk in with no certification, present yourself and say, I'm a mason, or a plumber, or a carpenter, assess and certify me. And we did that. Thousands of persons in this country were certified. That made them more marketable. You know what I did to them in their homes? It increased their self-esteem and their self-worth. Because the children are now seeing that my father, who was a mason, who riding a bike looking for work as a plumber, he now has a qualification. But not only that, he can move within the CSME, the Caricom Single Market and Economy, present his Caricom Skills Passport, and work anywhere in the Caribbean. We used to talk about Guyana. People used to come to from Guyana and we used to help them out. Now we close down the whole industry here, and Guyana pumping 500,000 barrels of oil a day with ExxonMobil. And we have the best salesman. He couldn't sell to Guyana a pipeline to move the oil from there to Trinidad instead of closing down Petrotrin. But he's the best salesman. I want to tell you something. I want to deal with a little bit, and let me talk with my colleague, Jonathan Darrison. I was deputy chairman of the board of Caroni Limited. I know, like many of you here, I could see it by your faces. I know Vernon know it good. You would have seen the small aircraft, the plane, Dustin, we used to call them Dustin plane. Now we have everything gone. We never saw so much mosquito and frog hop and thing, and insect. And there was a bomber, a big plane. The belly used to be filled with water. And when the cane field and them had fire, the bomber used to fly over, open the belly and out the fire. The closed down Caroni and you had a wasting asset, a runway. And Dr. Lee and I, we spoke about this, and Mr. Khan and many of us, and I said, why are we allowing a wasting asset like a runway at Camden? And we landed there for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. We opened the UTT Aviation Campus and landed a Boeing 727 jet. And because it was Caroni workers, it was the blood, sweat and tears of the children of sugar workers who couldn't find anything, I coined the phrase, from cutting cane to flying plane. That is the future. I met a boy, a young boy, about 2 nights ago, Dr. Lee. And he asked me, he said, sir, do you remember me? He gave me his name. Neil Boudran. I said, remind me where I met you. He said, when you opened the aviation campus, I was in the first class. He said, I want to tell you, Caribbean Airlines sent me to the Bahamas to fix one of the jets and to ensure that the engine was working to come back. I'm a technician. Thanks to you and Mrs. Bissetta and the United National Congress. But you know, yesterday we got the news that 400 of our boys and girls, and I want to say publicly congratulations to all our national scholarship winners. Open an additional 400 of them got scholarships. But I just want to give you some figures. It is important that you understand what I'm talking about. In 2019, 400. In 2018, 376 scholarships. In 2017, 377 scholarships. In 2016, 389 scholarships. So in 4 years, this PNM government would have awarded 1,542 scholarships. But you know what? We in the parliament, my colleagues in nursing and Dr. Lee, we are looking at the budget speeches. In the first budget speech in 2015-2016, the Minister of Finance, Coleman Bird, came and boasted, and when he talking like a flingy hand, I now launch for the first time to take care of the young people, the graduate recruitment training program. Every year, you go back to the finances, the yellow books, and you will see $1 million allocated to all ministries for every year, not one graduate employed. When we asked them the other day in the parliament, tell us this allocation of $1 million, how many people have you employed? None. What is the reason for it? We have a policy issue. Them take 4 years to deal with a policy issue, to take our scholarship winners who can't get jobs, who sitting in the house home, doctors who are graduates and can't get work, and you have a hospital right here waiting to be open, and you don't understand what the H is for. H is for hospital, not health center. That's what they're about. I want to tell you as well, what do these young people have? I want to talk to the young people tonight. You know why? You make up a large percentage of the voting population. And you must understand how this PNM government is treating you. What are your options when you graduate? I was Minister of Tertiary Education, and I can tell you that between UWI, UTT, the University of the Southern Caribbean, Roytech, NESC, MIC, YTEP, all of those tertiary institutions, within all of them, and some of the private sector ones, over 10,000 young graduates enter this workforce every year. I am sure you will find, and I know that my colleagues will agree with me, people come to their offices like mine and ask and beg, can we get an OJT job? Can we get something to do for 2 years? They've fed up write applications. Do you know what you call those people who continue to write applications and don't get even a reply? No hope of a job. We call that the frustrated graduate, the graduate glut. Graduates who feel a sense of dispossession in our economy. They have a right to employment in this country. And I tell you, when Mrs. Bissess and the United National Congress returns, we are going to reverse this joblessness. People ask the question.
Ms. Michael Callis, I'm the local candidate for Marbella West under the UNC. My purpose of being here today is that I'm displeased, I'm angry about the situation that is going on in Marbella West.
That is the difference between the UNC and the PNM. We respect the living and we also respect the dead. So as I indicated to you, what are the options available to our young people? Some of them will go on to study. You know why? Not because they want to go on to graduate studies, you know, but because they have no job. So they're going to get an additional qualification, hoping that will get a job. Some of them deciding now that I will be underemployed. What is the meaning of underemployment? Underemployment means that if you have a degree, but you're working on conditions and terms and conditions, like if you have 5 subjects, you're willing to do less to survive. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, and you must agree with me, have you ever seen, and now giving you a new terminology, so many open trunk shops? An open trunk shop is where people open the trunk and they put out their goods for sale, or they have tables in front of their house because they're growing something in the back of the home, or they're buying something and trying to make a little living. Because of the hardship, because of the difficulties that we live under, and you have the PNM. I want to tell this, I want to read something for you just now, because in fact I better read it now, so you will know what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about education and training, and I'm saying to you that we have policies. Mr. Bissessa presented in a budget response a transformation plan. What is the plan of the PNM? Well, first of all, they have no plan, and even if they have one, they will call it a transaction plan, a day-to-day plan. We are futuristic. We talk about education, and I want to read. Last week Sunday, we had our rally. Last week Sunday, the PNM had its 49th convention in Port of Spain. I have the document here. This is the speech, the Prime Minister's speech, and I want to tell you how they treat education and young people in this country, and I read it. Our young people, in their thousands, confidently populate our 3 universities, UWI, UTT, and USC, as well as Costa and other centers of learning. Well, we know that. We were in charge of the GATE program. You now get up and reading about this? They populated a long time, but listen to this part. This is the part. Their efforts there, he's talking about at the universities and the institutions. And he's talking about our young people. Their efforts there are on their way of saying, to all who wish to hear that they have confidence that there is a future for this country and opportunities for them in that future. You believe that? No. Well, you should come down somewhere else. Stop reading this. They write it for you. You should write the truth and come and see how many young people who finish school, who don't know where to go. Right here in Texaco, in Petrotrin, Dr. Lee was running the MIC Institute of Technology. Do you know how that was developed? And I'll tell you why too, because I said my bus is to pass right there. My bus number was 48. 48 was every stop, including right here, Claxton Bay. 49 was limited stop. And me and my partner, who was going press, we jumped in a bus called number 50 from San Fernando. That was a non-stop to Port of Spain. But where the MIC Institute of Technology was, that is where you must have heard about the Texaco Trade School. That has contributed so much. The trade schools of Caroni and Texaco and Tech and people from FedChem and so on, they helped build the Point Research Industrial Estate. They say PNM build that, PNM give you education. Well, as far as I'm concerned, taxpayers do all that. And as I kind of conclude, because you see, I know I have other people to talk and I want to listen to my colleague Dr. Lee. I just want to conclude by telling you, they're talking about deviance and progress, but yet still we have a headline in the newspaper. Male school dropouts joining gangs. What is the Ministry of Education doing? What is the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago doing? But I end with this, and my colleagues will bear me out. Amidst all of these people who are losing their jobs, over 60 or 63,000, the retraining program for displaced workers with an $18 million budget has been slashed to zero at BITEP. My brothers and sisters, as I end, I pray to you, do not ever make that mistake. Encourage as many people as possible, not only to support our candidates here, but throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad, so that Mrs. Bisessa and the United National Congress will be victorious by miles and thousands of votes on December the 2nd, 2019. I thank you very much.
Sukutri's Junction, put your hands together for the best Minister of Tertiary Education in the political history of Trinidad and Tobago, the current Member of Parliament for Chaguanas East, Mr. Fazal Karim. And you have heard from him tonight. There was a vision for the young people. There was a focus on job creation. You must never forget that the partnership government created 56,000 jobs in 5 years under Kamla Prasad Bisessa, under Rowley in 4 years and 2 months, 63,633 people, and add 60 permanent and 300 contract workers at Yara. They had to go home because there's no foreign direct investment. There's a squeeze on foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago. And when you go to the polls, you must remember it was the partnership government led by Kamla Prasad Bisessa who gave local government councillors a sense of direction, and a futuristic one at that, because it was the partnership government that gave councillors offices, a partnership government which gave councillors secretaries, a place where they could meet and treat with you. And it is because of our commitment to local government reform, a work which was in progress from the point of view of proportional, or what we would call proportional votes, that aldermen and alderwomen were introduced in the 14 regional corporations throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. And tonight, you have heard about a vision for the young people in terms of aviation and skills development. And that is what your party is committed to under Kamla Prasad Bisessa, to create another 56 of 60,000 jobs. in 5 years based on the National Economic Transformation Plan, which she presented in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago during the 2020 budget presentation. And in keeping with youth, I just want 2 young fellas who have a sense of commitment to our great party and our leader and the vision for the next 5 years when we assume the government of Trinidad and Tobago in 2020. Just stand so the people of Sukuk Trace Junction can see you all. Ismail Taruba, who is the youth officer in the constituency of Chaguanas East, and the National Youth Arm Chairman, Mr. Kavish Sidial. Give them a warm welcome in Sukuk Trace Junction. My brothers and sisters, we are at a juncture in this evening's meeting where the air is rare, because under Minister Fazal Karim, who was the line minister for the Metal Industries Corporation, had a vision for skills development and the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. He has brought a different brand of representation to the constituency of Point-a-Pierre. He has excelled with a sense of dignity in fulfilling his sense of duties and responsibilities in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago as the Chief Whip under our leader and our next Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad Bisasa. Sukuk Trace Junction, put your hands together and give a rousing welcome to your committed and hard-working Member of Parliament, Dr. David Sunday.
Thank you, MD Singh. Thank you, Kavish, for being here. I know you came from far. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into my discourse here, I want to just acknowledge all the religious speakers here tonight, especially Panditji. Panditji, as I've gotten to know him in the last five years, is a really funny individual, and I always look forward to visiting his temple and hearing his speeches. I also like to recognize Camille Gobin, past councillor, Angie Benjamin Alderman for the Cuba Tabakit Corporation, and I want to also thank very much Auntie Haripati for allowing us to be here in her property here tonight in Sukuk Trace Junction. I also like to recognize, and I'll say it at the end, but you know, I listened to MP Karim, I still call him minister, and he talked about Camille being fired by this wicked PNM government. And what he forget to tell you, that MP Karim was also fired in 2010, I think, 2007, by this same PNM wicked government. And there was a gentleman, an MP, at the time, I think he was the MP for Chaguanas East, if my memory serves me right. Now, so fast. One, Mustafa Hamid. He was the individual who gave the instructions to fire MP Fazal Karim, who was at the time CEO of MTA Corporation, which he led, and he was doing a fantastic job. And I think up to the day, MP Faz still carries around in his wallet the termination letter, which was complimentary. So he got a termination letter with a recommendation of good work. And it was this PNM government that fired not only Camille, but fired MP Fazal Karim, the member for Chaguanas East at the time, Mustafa Hamid. And karma is something, I don't want to use the word, but the present MP for Chaguanas East is no other than Fazal Karim. You see how karma works? Karma works. And the PNM government don't even recognize that individual called Mustafa Hamid today. So I want to tell the gentleman across the road, Aaron, they keep telling me, I have a file on Aaron. 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 I have a file. Because you see, the United National Congress, we are decent individuals. All here. Decent. We have decent councillors in Nadia Khan Mohammed and decent councillors in Gangaram Gopal. Decent individuals. When I became a member of parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre and I entered the House of Representatives, the government, those PNM on the other side, looked at us and said, we in charge now. What's so? Remember those? We in charge now. And deal with it, as far as reminding me. And they also said to us, this is the Gael insider here. If you're afraid politics, this is not your place. And they looked at myself as a newbie, I consider myself a newbie politician, and said, this is not for you. I want to tell Aaron across the street, I have a file on him, and I will let it go when the time is right. Right? Because you cannot freight powder. What is he saying? Play mass and freight powder. And people have asked me to take it easy on Aaron. Why should I take it easy on Aaron? Because the PNM don't take it easy on any one of us here. And Aaron represents the People's National Movement. He doesn't represent the United National Congress. This is a war we are in. He wants to be the councillor for Claxon Bay Pointe-a-Pierre against Nadia Khan Mohammed. But that you will never see on December 2nd. You will never see that. Well, you see, you want to get me in trouble. And a green donkey, as the gentleman said. Right? Politics is not easy. But we are decent human beings. So as the individual that Fazal Karen beat in Chagonas East in 2015, I will say the file I have is not for tonight. Not for tonight. Another time. We have plenty time till December 2nd. Plenty time. I want to ask the people on Suku Trace Junction here, and the people, the hundreds here, and the listening outside there. Can you tell us here, in the last 4 years and 2 months, could you name one significant project that this wicked PNM has done for this country? 4 years and 2 months, they have spent over $250 billion. And could you tell us here tonight, one significant project that they have done for the people of Trinidad and Tobago? The only project that I could come up with is going back into Whitehall around the Savannah. That is what they did in the last 4 years and 2 months. And that was to make his book have validity from Mason Hall to Whitehall. And we'll write the other book. Faz likes to write books and read books. He'll write the book from Whitehall back to Mason Hall whenever that general election is called. So for 4 years and 2 months, I asked that question to some people who I was having a discussion with just before I came to the meeting. Could you tell me, because I told them I'm coming to Suku Trace to do a meeting, what significant project? And I asked Aaron, tell us what his government, his party has done for this country. Ask him what the PNM has done for even Claxton Bay in the last 4 years and 2 months. We are in opposition. We are in opposition on the weekend that Nadia just talked about. It was very difficult for Nadia and myself and Gangaram on Saturday when the floods hit around 2 p.m. We were out there. And on Sunday the rains came again and some of the people in Claxton Bay got flooded out again for a second time. It was heart-rendering. It was painful to see the pain. And I called Kazim Hussein. I said, Minister, he took my call. I must tell you that. I need your help. I need your help for the people of Claxton Bay, Lalu Trace, and got flooded out. Could you assist me? Because the disaster team from Cuba Tabaki Talparo was on the ground working with Nadia and myself on Saturday, and they continue the good work, and I must compliment them. I have nothing to say about those officers from the disaster preparedness division in the Cuba Tabaki Talparo. And Kazem Hussein afraid me. He don't like me to call his name. He don't like me to call it, and I know he's listening tonight. He's read everything I put up on my Facebook. If it's one person I know reading my Facebook and listening to me tonight, is Minister Kazem Hussein. And I asked him for CPEP crew because since this government came into being, I don't even know who are the CPEP gangs in the Claxton Bay. Maybe Aaron could tell us who are the CPEP gangs in this community? Because I don't know, I'm the MP. Nadia doesn't know. Right? So, I hear they're walking with him. They're walking with him. True. Right? So, I did ask Minister Kazem, because when you looked at the flooding that took place over on Sunday in the Lalo Trace area and Immaculate area, especially over here too, some elderly homes, they needed assistance. And they did come, they followed on a Monday. They couldn't come out on the Sunday. They came on a Monday morning and they rendered some assistance. I want to thank Kazem Hussein for that. And the only reason why he did that, and that is why this morning you heard from Nadia that the drainage people from the Ministry of Works also came knocking on her door. But at the end of the day, it was just a PR job, because at the end of the day, they have no money to do any cleaning of any drains and water courses. Because today in Parliament, in a joint select committee, they had the Lands and Physical Committee, and Rohan Sinanan and his team was in front of the GSC this morning, and they were trying to covering their tail. Right? So that we as an opposition, we struggle, and the people don't really understand that. And I don't expect them to understand that. They put Nadia in as a councillor, they put Gangaram as a councillor, they put myself as the MP for Point de Pierre, and they just want results. And we go hand in cap, we beg the ministers to assist us in our communities. And the only way we can get some assistance is when I light them up in Parliament, and we light them up in Parliament. That is the only time we sort of get some kind of results, when we light them up in Parliament. I light them up on Facebook. But up to now, nobody in the audience can tell me what this government has done in the last 4 years. We looked at, I can tell you what they have destroyed. They have destroyed Petrotrin. They have destroyed our education system. Right here in Claxton Bay, our secondary school has been shut down for, a minor plumbing issue that the Ministry of Education cannot solve for the last 3 to 4 weeks. A plumbing issue. And certain parts of the school is getting mold. And that is why the teachers are complaining. And they're trying to force the teachers to go back to school and apply for sick leave or leave of absence, and not on a protest matter. We also have the Claxton Bay Anglican School that has been neglected for years and has been shut down. And up to now, those young children and the single mothers don't know when the children will go back to school. And that's just 2 schools right in Claxton Bay. And there is Aaron putting up on Facebook that he has the solution to bring back those 2 schools. What nonsense Aaron talking here? Right? Aaron is the Minister of Education. Right? And you know what Aaron is doing? Let me tell you what, you know what Aaron is doing? Aaron is no different than his party. He lies a lot. Nadia Khan Mohammed is doing a project in Soledad grounds. It took about 2 years to get all the permits, all the financing in place to really start and put a pavilion in Soledad grounds. Now, someone out here? By Well Farm, the grounds by Well Farm. Right? And you know what he did? We got some information from TechU, from the board of TechU, who owns and has responsibility for that playground. And he ran on Facebook and gave the impression to the community that it is his work that he's doing that. That is lie, lie, lie. He's no different in his party. He's no different in his leader, Rowley. He's no different. All of them cut from the same bolt of cloth. Right? Politics. You can't afraid politics, you know. And I get into it. And I learn from the best here in Narsingh and Fasal Karim. And my leader, Kamla Prasad Disasa. So what have this PNM government destroyed? They destroyed Petrotrin. They destroyed our education system. They destroyed our health sector. You know, if you look at the hospitals and the amount of people on beds, they have destroyed our public utility sector. They have destroyed works and transport. It's only pothole, pothole, pothole. And we can't even get material. They employ people and they have them sitting down in these ministries and they're not even buying the material for the people to do the work. Right? They're Imbert last year said the economy has turned around. In the last 18 months, have you felt that? When you drive around right here in Claxton Bay, on the southern main road, Marabella, you see so many commercial buildings that people would have taken a risk to invest in are up for rent. Because people are now shutting down, they can't get foreign exchange. They can't get foreign exchange. Right? And Imbert tells the OWTU, you want to buy the refinery because they are the preferred bidder? The OWTU says, we'll put up $700 million US. Imbert says, we don't need your money. We don't need your money. We can't even get 100 US to go in from the bank to buy. But Imbert tells the OWTU, we don't need your $700 million US at this point in time. Take 13 years and pay back the country. That could never make sense. So Imbert, who is he fooling? Who is he fooling? The people are not foolish anymore. So I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, on December 2nd, 2019, the general election bell has rung. Because on December 2nd, we must send a strong message to this wicked PNM government that is enough is enough. And we will vote in Gangarang Gopal in Brechen's Casa Esperanza. And we will vote back Nadia Khan Mohammed in Claxton Bay Point of View. And we will take the San Fernando Corporation and we will take all these seats that in Chagonas East that Fazal Karim is in charge of. And we'll bring back home and we'll bring back good governance to this country, because that has been lacking in the last 4 years and 2 months. And this wicked PNM government, it is time to tell them enough is enough and vote them out on December 2nd. I thank you, my ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Sukutri's Junction, you have heard from your Member of Parliament, and give him a lusty round of applause for putting the issues here to you tonight. And I want to tell the fella, they call Iran or Rana, whatever his name is, if he had the solution to the problems at the Anglican Primary School and the Claxton Bay Secondary School, tell him I know a lady who have the solution for the problems he having. And I just say I know a lady, that's all. My brothers and sisters, and if he step out the line, Dr. Lee will return in Sukutri's Junction with the big file that we have in his possession, because they are about destroying people's character and telling lies to you. And that is why Garcia, well, here runs in another lie. Kazem Hussein lying, Garcia lying every Friday in the Parliament, school shutting down. He telling you he pay for work, the contract, transport, drivers, and they have already signaled that they will shut down as of next week, because I think this is about the 5th shutdown during his 4+ years as the Minister of Education. That is incompetence, that is deceit, that is lies, and that is deception. And they have inflicted a lack of hopelessness. There's no hope, there's pain, there's suffering, and there's misery throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. And elections are not won by meetings. I want to tell you, network with everybody in these 2 electoral districts, because we need victory in the 139 across Trinidad and Tobago. The time is now for Rowley and the PNM to go. There must be a resurgence of the UNC to take back not only local government, but to take back the government of Trinidad and Tobago under Kamla Prasad-Bissessa. And on the 2nd of December, rally behind our great leader, rally behind our great party, rally behind our great 139 candidates, and be proud of your symbol, the rising sun, so that it will rise brightly on the 3rd of December 2019. I thank you.
Thank you, and that brings us to the end of tonight's proceedings. But before I close, I want to thank the St. Margaret's Police Station and the police officers who assisted us here tonight. I know they assisted us last week in our first meeting in Soledad. Stay tuned for our 3rd and final meeting next week. We are having it in St. Margaret's Junction. It's going to be a bumper meeting. You'll have some dynamic speakers that we are bringing out in St. Margaret's Junction that night in support of Nadia and Gangaram. I want to also thank Mr. William Archie and his team from Atlantic Communication, who has presented us a live feed here on Facebook on UNC page. I thank you, William, for always being here for us. And your team, thank you. Can we give William Archie a round of applause and his team, always there doing human service. I would like to thank all the individuals on the head table, especially Rudy Indarsingh. Can we give Rudy Indarsingh a round of applause? A dynamic chairman of our proceedings, Mr. Fazal Karim, the one and only, the best Minister of Tertiary Education that this country has ever seen, and you will see him back again. I want to thank Alderman Angie, all the individuals who have been here, and but last but not least, can we give our 2 winning candidates on December 2nd? Nadia Khan Mohammed for Claxton Bay, Point of Air, and Gangaram Gopal for Brechin Caspe Esperanza. We'll beat them in the east, we'll beat them in the west, we'll beat them right across next on this road right here on December 2nd, right across in Suko Trace. I thank you and reach home safe.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. Move and use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt.